On February 15th of 2010, two men would board a bus in Oakland, California, headed across town. Neither of these men would make it to their destination, as both would disembark early. One of these men would leave the bus with a knuckle sandwich, and the other the status of soon-to-be internet legend. The incident I'm referring to is none other than the infamous Oakland bus fight video featuring an individual the internet has dubbed the Epic Beard Man.
I don't deserve all that attention, I'm just doing what's right.
The elderly Epic Beard Man, Thomas Bruso, became a world-renowned internet star thanks to a viral video showing him whooping some ass in a bus confrontation with a much younger man. The video portrayed Tom as this kick-ass old-timer who had no tolerance for BS, and while that's mostly true, this video only really scratches the surface of the insane day-to-day life of Thomas Bruso, aka the Epic Beard Man. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the man behind this living meme, Thomas Bruso, and chart his meteoric rise to internet fame and his depressing downfall. Before we get started, I want to thank 1440 for sponsoring today's video. 1440 is an easily digestible daily newsletter that cuts through all of the online clickbait BS and just gives you important news in an unbiased way. In one concise 5-minute read, you'll get stories from sports, science, politics, to finance. 1440 covers it all. When it comes to television, news loves to waste your time with commercials and blatant bias, and the online blogs can be just as bad. 1440 covers even the most controversial stories with a balanced perspective without bias that I've really come to appreciate. The newsletter is consistently on point, and I genuinely enjoy perusing through it when it hits my inbox, so give 1440 a shot. You guys can subscribe to 1440's newsletter by clicking my link below. That's join1440.com/wavywebsurf. Subscribe today for free. Now, let's get on to the video. I want to begin by saying there is very little information known about Thomas Bruso's early life, and the stories that we do know come in the form of tall tales from Tom himself. And if what he has to say here is true, growing up for Tom was pretty crazy. Just hear him talk about it.
And I was crazy because I was a fighter. I was always beating up my teacher. By the time I was 12, I threw a fucking chair through the window in the principal's office. I knocked the shit out of the monitor and threw his chair through the fucking glass window. And then I went to reform school for 11 months and 9 days. And then I got released and I stayed out 6 months. And the next time I went to reform school, they sent me to state penitentiary in Wisconsin. And I went to the mental ward, Waupun State Mental Hospital for the criminally insane.
Now, after becoming an adult, Tom claims to have left his allegedly abusive parents and joined the military, stating he served in 1969 and served in Vietnam. He says this is where he got the nickname Vietnam Tom.
My name is Thomas Alexander Bruso, Tommy Slick in Chicago, Illinois.
Everyone's calling you Vietnam Tom.
Is that right?
Yeah, so did you serve in Vietnam?
I did.
Now, after serving in the military, Tom claims that he moved to Chicago and became a pimp, making money in the city's criminal underworld. Beardman had the hose, apparently. Sometime in the 1980s or 1990s, Tom would move to California doing God knows what, but he reportedly got an apartment in Oakland, and his activities after this would be unknown for some time. But this relative anonymity would be stripped from Tom decades later in 2009 when he was introduced to the news media for the first time. In August of 2009, a video surfaced online showing a man being apprehended and subdued by police at an Oakland A's baseball game. And this man was none other than Thomas Bruso. Bruso claims that he smoked a bowl of weed mixed with cocaine, got drunk off multiple bottles of alcohol, and went to this baseball game.
I pull out my little pipe and I started smoking some weed. I said, what the fuck, let's put some cocaine in there.
He would then sit at a seat that he didn't pay for, and when security approached the belligerent Bruso, a physical confrontation ensued, resulting in police arriving and unfortunately having to tase Bruso to subdue him. I think they probably could have gotten away with not tasing him, but anyways.
Next thing I know, the Oakland PD's every fucking one, 12 of them, tasing my ass in my back.
Now, this altercation resulted in Thomas being sent to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation because apparently he had a known history of mental illness and was allegedly bipolar. He would be released from the hospital after a short while, and this altercation was what planted Thomas Bruso into the public sphere for the first time. And the funny thing is, this event is really only a preamble to the major Thomas Bruso altercation that everyone knows about. As about 7 months later, Tom would find himself on camera again when he got into an altercation with a man on an Oakland city bus. Apparently, Tom was speaking with a stranger on this city bus when he started talking about this funeral he was attending in the near future. When he asked this stranger, "How much you charge for a spit shine of my Stacey Adams shoes?"
How much you charge me for a spit shine? What? How much you charge me for my Stacey Adams? I'm going to the funeral on Friday.
The man, feeling disrespected and interpreting the comment as a racist insult, responds, "Why a brother gotta spit shine your shoes?"
Why a brother gotta spit shine your shoes? And you can offer it.
This results in an argument with the two lobbing verbal threats back and forth.
I'm 67 years old. You ain't scared of me. I'm 50. You ain't scared of me. You ain't scared of me. I'll put my foot up your ass. No, you won't. No, you won't.
Eventually, after some heated exchange, Tom moves away from the man and sits in the front of the bus. But the stranger follows Tom, pushing him, resulting in a fisticuffs brawl. One that Tom absolutely dominates in. After the fight, both men get off the bus. The stranger's nose is bloodied, and Tom can be seen screaming and raging in the street, also kicking a signpost. After the altercation, Tom was eventually apprehended by police and taken to the hospital for a 72-hour psychiatric hold. The man whose nose was bloodied in the fight by Tom would later be identified as Oakland resident Michael Levette. Levette did not press charges against Tom. The video of this crazy altercation would soon be uploaded to YouTube, and it almost immediately went viral, getting millions of views. And one thing soon became clear after seeing the response to this video. Everyone supported Tom, and they were impressed by the fighting prowess displayed by the 62-year-old scrapper. It was a true display of giving zero fucks, and the legend of the epic beard man was birthed with the publishing of this video. Mr. Levette was seen as the aggressor by most, and since he continued to approach Tom and pushed him, people saw Tom's retaliation as justified. In the aftermath of this brawl, freelance reporters tracked down both Tom and Michael Levette. Tom expressed that he had no remorse for the event, and well, Mr. Lovett admitted that he was intoxicated on the bus ride. Here are both of them giving their respective takes on the altercation.
What do you think about all of this?
Oh, it's a little overwhelming. I don't deserve all that attention. I'm just doing what's right. He was a murderer. I got a murderer off the streets. I feel good about that. He was wanted for murder. He did 18 years in the penitentiary. He's on parole. He's a parole violator. He's going to go back for 10 years for armed robbery and assault and battery and possession of a knife while on parole.
So what
and theft. They stole my money and they stole my bag.
First of all, I would like to apologize to AC Transit and the public and everyone who was on that bus that day.
Okay.
Because of the way that I conducted myself. I was a little bit intoxicated.
Okay.
And I also would like to apologize to him because he's a veteran. My brother is also a veteran. And I apologize to him for the way I conducted myself by throwing the first punch.
Tom, in several interviews, is on YouTube claiming that he got a murderer off the street, that you've been to the pen for murder, and you're on parole right now.
Never. No, I'm not.
Okay.
That's not true.
As views of the bus fight video increased, so did the intrigue with the enigmatic epic beard man, and when the bit got out that he was supposedly a Vietnam War vet, well, the badass caricature was solidified. The internet fans had to know more about him. Well, fortunately, the epic beard man was relatively easy to find, as he could often be spotted wandering around the streets of Oakland participating in a variety of shenanigans, and was always eager to tell long-winded stories. Here are a few examples.
Get your tickets early. I think they're all sold out. I think there's 65,000 sold. $1.50 a ticket. Seniors get in free. If you're homeless, you don't have to pay. Predicting the first round, 12 seconds. 89 punches in the fucking face. I'm gonna roll over him like a piece of shit, man. The 101st Airborne Unit, Sergeant E6. I got demoted 3 times for fucking punching lieutenants and captains. I can't take orders, man, especially when I'm stoned out of my mind on crystal meth. And that heroin? Don't give me no motherfucking heroin, man.
I am an expert in Kung Fu. I'm an expert in karate. I'm an expert in judo. I'm an expert in hand-to-hand combat. I'm an expert boxer. I'm an expert wrestler.
Listening to the stuff this guy says, it's almost hard to believe him, but you just want to, right? The fascination with this eccentric and boisterous man grew to a fever pitch by the summer of 2010, so much to the point that directors wanted to make movies based off of him. It's reported that in the summer of 2010, writer and director Craig Moss offered Thomas Bruso a contract for $6,000 for the exclusive rights to tell his story. According to a report by SF Weekly, this $6,000 offer was one that Tom accepted, burning through this money in about a week by buying weed and passing out money to his personal friends. This Craig Moss director guy would eventually go on to create a film called Badass starring Danny Trejo, which is loosely based off the epic beard man and his bus fight incident. Emphasis on loosely. Really, the only similarity is that the main character has a beard, was a Vietnam vet, and got into a fight on a bus and went viral. Everything else is just totally made up.
It's not good.
Now let's for a moment put the legend of the epic beard man aside and look at the man behind this character, Thomas Bruso. Beneath the machismo and larger-than-life persona, there certainly is a guy here that has experienced a lot of hardship and struggles in his life. When you consider his pattern of psych ward visits, physical altercations, and other various erratic behaviors, I think it's fair to say that Tom is not the most well-adjusted individual. Likeable, yes, but he seems to really struggle with mental illness amongst other things. In fact, one of Tom's sisters has gone on record and made the claim that Tom's entire life story is just a complete fabricated delusion. A misrepresentation and fabrication of reality brought upon by Tom's unmedicated bipolar disorder. It's all a bunch of lies. If he has your attention, he can tell you all types of stories and make himself feel good about who he is for that moment in time. She adds that her brother is bipolar and gets out of control because he refuses to take his meds. Quote, it's a delusional life he's living through this media glittery type attention. The SF Weekly article also reports a claim from the sister stating that Tom never went to Vietnam and that he was never a pimp in Chicago. Now, it is important to note that this sister that gave all these statements chose to keep her name anonymous. So with that being the case, I think you should take this report with a grain of salt. But given Tom's proclivity for these tall tale type stories that he's often telling, I think it's something to think about. And with that said, this is where we get into the more depressing half of the story. By 2011, most of the viral hype surrounding the epic beard man would dwindle and interviews featuring the beloved bearded brawler would cease. And unfortunately, what coincided with this drop in relevance was an increased level of instability in Tom's personal life. In mid-2011, it was being reported that Tom had been evicted from his Section 8 apartment, making him homeless at the age of 64. The reason for the eviction is unknown. From this point onward, the little structure holding Thomas Bruso's life together, his residence, was stripped away from him. He didn't have a place to stay. The last truly formal interview conducted with Thomas was filmed by documentarian Nathan Mass, and it paints a bleak picture for the epic beard man. Take a look.
I don't think anybody should be 64 years old in America and be homeless. I smell I haven't taken a shower in like 3 days, 4 days. You know, I can't help it. And I'm gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. I lost 67 pounds already. The store behind me, I'm not gonna name the name of it. Don't take the name of it. But I shoplift there when I'm hungry.
Unfortunately, there's never been any reporting indicating that Tom was ever able to find a new permanent residence, so it's presumed that he's still homeless or just couch surfing or in and out of homeless shelters. Occasional sightings of the epic beard man would still be recorded, but while he seemed in somewhat good spirits, it was clear that he wasn't doing well.
And a fucking free bedroom. All I gotta do is plank her once in a while and wait for the Social Security to come in. And when she go to sleep, I take 100 or 2 here. When she wakes up broke in about 3 weeks, she ain't gonna even know who took it. Because I'm gonna keep her high on cocaine and crack.
Okay, you do that.
And vodka. You want to make 600?
No, I'm married.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bring your husband.
It's okay, he's in the Navy.
I'm bisexual.
Oh,
I like big dicks.
oh okay.
The last and most recent recording of Thomas Bruso shows the man in a truly dire condition. Recorded October 2nd of 2014 by YouTuber Robbery211, the video shows Tom shoving gas station employees, speaking with an extremely hoarse voice, looking disheveled, and wandering around in public, seemingly experiencing some sort of crisis.
This world star, bro. This world star. Back up, G. Back up. Back up. Watch out, bro. You going crazy, bro. Watch out, bro. Back up, G. I already told you. Back the fuck up, bro. You tripping, bro.
You better cut. They calling 5-0 on you because you broke their door, bro.
Epic beer, man.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm a bad motherfucker. You don't want to fuck with me.
You famous on YouTube already?
That's me, man.
Swear.
I swear I am.
The dude from the bus?
The bus fight too.
You fought that guy in the bus, huh?
I beat his ass.
Damn, I know you got hands.
I broke the fucking window. You see me break the window?
I see you.
You a savage.
You a sad dude.
Call the police. Call the police. I got robbed.
I'm telling you. Hey, what you think about Danny Trejo did that badass movie?
Well, fuck Danny Trejo. He sucked, man. I'm gonna do my real do my own movie.
There you have it.
Danny Trejo, you suck, Danny
Hey, we
Trejo.
just recorded your movie.
You can never play me, you motherfucker.
There you have it from the man
You
himself.
can't play me. I am the man. I'm the man, motherfucker.
Oh my god.
Many Redditors claim to have spotted Tom on numerous occasions around the Bay Area in recent years, but none can provide any real insight into his activities. Needless to say, it's sad to see him experience such a decline. Watching Mr. Thomas Bruso enjoying himself to the fullest after becoming the epic beard man, being surrounded by fans, attention, and online adoration, it was a beautiful sight. You couldn't help but feel good for the guy. He was blessed with a glimmer of fame that seemed to bring him happiness occurring late in a life filled with hardships. Unfortunately though, the demons that plagued Tom throughout his life eventually caught up with him, and his struggles with his apparent mental health problems remained a constant battle that he seemed to have progressively lost. Our country has long underserved its homeless and mentally ill populations, time after time failing to come up with some sort of solution that works in regards to these dilemmas. Thomas Bruso, aka the Epic Beard Man, is yet another example of these failings, notable because his socio-economic downfall has been so widely documented. While the future is uncertain for Tom, I'm crossing my fingers that we will see him again someday, and hopefully he can find structure in his life once more. Yeah, I know guys, it's kind of a depressing ending, but that is the story of Tom Bruso, aka the Epic Beard Man. Let me know what you guys thought about this story down below in the comments section. Slap a like on the video, ring that notification bell. You can check out this video right here about this sweet grandma that wrote a wholesome food review and everyone gawked at it. If you want a palate cleanser, it's a good video, wholesome, check it out. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.